To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink. Like it or not, we're all in sales. Just take a look at the emails and the text messages that you sent last week. If you look close enough, you realize that any of your messages, you were convincing someone to take a certain action. You may try to get a friend to help you, or a family member to agree with you, or the boss to listen to you. And sometimes this week you might want someone to share your Facebook post, help you clean the house, or help you complete a project at work. Human beings are social creatures who need to work together to complete certain goals. So the act of selling or the act of persuading to have someone to take some action is a fundamental human skill. That doesn't mean that we're naturally good at it, unless you take your time to learn some sales skills. So let me show you some sales skills from the book To Sell is Human. Attunement, buoyancy, and clarity. Attunement, buoyancy, and clarity. Those are the three things Daniel talks about in his book. Let me tell you what those mean. So attunement is how attuned in you are to your prospects. So how much are you relating to them as individuals and their needs? How much are you coming at them what you have to offer and worrying more about yourself than them? First, you have to reduce your power. You have to lower your power, meaning you're going to ask questions. You're going to ask very simple questions that bring yourself down. So don't act like you know all the answers. Nobody does. But really ask acquisitive, probing questions to get a bit more in tune to your prospect. The second thing is add perspective. So there's a difference between using your head and using your heart, right? Or having empathy. So whilst both are powerful, it's actually more powerful to use your head rather than your heart. So find or figure out the problem that they're dealing with. So your perspective has to do with empathizing to their situation, but also engaging mentally to solve the problem or issue that they are dealing with. Then the third thing with attunement is what we call this strategic mimicking. If your prospect shares something with you, the right approach is to repeat that back to them, right? To reflect what they're saying. If they say, I think the problem might be this, then your response could be, so what I hear you saying is you feel like this and this and this. Is that right? That would be a great way to mimic what they say and give an opportunity to show that you're listening. And then it'll put you in a mind frame of them. The last thing that Daniel suggests is the role that you're playing is more an ambivert. So not so much an extrovert or an introvert, but right in the middle. So what he's found in his studies is that the most successful salespeople are not extreme extrovert or extreme introverts, but they're in the middle. The second one of the ABCs is buoyancy. Because in the selling situation, we often get rejections. There's this amazing video on a TED Talk of somebody who does 100 rejections. I highly recommend watching that as well. Not everyone needs what we offer, or not everyone can help us when we ask something. So it might not be the right time, or it might not be the right solution for what they need. So we need to be buoyant in an ocean of rejection. So what can we do to stay afloat? Daniel has found that interrogative self-talk is more powerful than declarative self-talk. Ask a question. Can I do it? In fact, he used this idea of many of your kids know Bob the Builder. When he gets into a difficult situation, he asks, can we fix it? So it's an interrogative self-talk. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. So your mind starts doing two things. You come up with answers to your question. You start to say to yourself, oh yes, I can fix it, and here's how I can. So you begin to come up with these solutions on how you can. It's important to maintain a healthy level of positivity as well. So we have to stay positive, but not overly positive, because there's a ratio of 3-to-1. So that's enough to keep you buoyant. But if you're too positive, like 10 or 11 positive thoughts to 1 negative thought, that's not good either. And then after the exchange, the point is to use explanatory style. So how do you deal with the situation that you've just encountered? So when people are saying no to you a lot, that can bring you down, that can, destroy your self-confidence. Change your explanatory style to external. So say it's just temporary, or it doesn't have to do with you that they said no. It's just the environment or something that's going on around you. Specific to an issue that caused the sale not to go the way you wanted to. It's a right now thing that will change over time. So if you want to stay buoyant in your selling activities, you ask yourself, can we fix it? Yes, we can. And then you have the good ratio of being positive and having an explanatory style of thinking about why did it not go well. So it's specific and temporary, so it doesn't come pervasive and permanent. There's the A, there's the B, and then there's C. The C is clarity. So how can you help your prospect identify the problem that they're facing? So there's a vast number of information to us, from the internet, So solving the problem is no longer the magic formula, right? It's finding the right problem. Make sure you ask the right questions in a way that you can help them find the problem they really have. Get clarity on that. The second thing is to frame up the issue, and framing is, again, has to do a lot with the framing of the problems. So it's not good compared to what. So framing is the compared to what statement. So this isn't good, this could be better compared to what. So that helps the client, the prospect, to get that clarity for them. Third thing in the area of clarity would be they have to know what you're offering. So the offerings need to be clear and available. Options, alternatives, or guarantees. So if this doesn't work, then we'll try this. Or if this doesn't work, then I'll guarantee you that we'll do this and this. So if you want to have clarity, you'll be a problem finder as much as a problem solver. You'll frame things up. This is the situation, and compared to that, this could be different. So you have options, so they not feel like they're trapped once they make the decision. So we can have this mindset, but if we don't do anything, then we wouldn't go anywhere, right? We improvise and serve. In the pitch area, it used to be like you had like an elevator pitch, right? Like 30 seconds. But it's not enough to only have that. So there's 6 different kind of pitches Daniel talks about. There's the one-word pitch. So what's a dominant word that suggests the impact that your product would have on your marketplace? So for instance, if you say search, you would think of Google. Write down a 50-word pitch, and then you reduce it to 25 words, and then down to 6 words. And then amongst those 6 words, you'll find your one word. So what's that one powerful word that you would use that would describe you? Then the question. So when you ask the question, how would you ask it so it would be compelling and thought-provoking, that they would want to learn more about you? In 1980 in America, he's making arguments to change the behavior of the voters. So sales again, right? He wants people to vote for him instead. So how is he persuasive? What kind of tools does he use? Carter's economic stewardship was not good, right? So Reagan could have gone out there and said, your situation has deteriorated in the last month. But what did he say instead? He said, ask yourself, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? He used a question to change behavior. He used a question to persuade. So there's great research out there that suggests that when you use a question to change people's behavior, question by their very nature elicit an active response. A statement doesn't. So with the question, even if you don't immediately respond, the wheels just turn a little bit. Here's what happens. When Reagan asked this question, a researcher out of Ohio University, and he did it probably as a matter of political instinct, but there's a science that explains why this works. When Reagan asked this question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? So what do people do? Their wheels turn a little bit. So they think, oh, okay, 1976, okay, it's 1980. Oh, wait, I'm much worse off now than I was 4 years ago. So the situation is a lot worse. So people come up with their own reasons for agreeing with you. People come up with their own reasons for doing something. Then they believe it more deeply and they adhere to the behavior more strongly. When people have their own reasons for doing something, they believe in it stronger. And in many cases, questions beat answers, but they don't always beat answers. So the cautionary side of all of this is another political tale with 2012. In politics, the same sort of question with Obama saying, "Oh yeah, are you worse off now after 4 years with Obama?" At October 2012, and people were thinking about, "Oh, well, it's not so well now, but 4 years ago, wait, that's 2008." Far worse than now. So it only works if you have really good arguments, if it's really true. If things are actually a lot worse, then people come up with their autonomous reasons for disagreeing with you, which they will believe more deeply and adhere to more strongly. So this algorithm is when the facts are clearly on your side, then we don't do it enough. We want to show how smart we are. We want to have the control, but actually we should ask the audience question and let them answer for themselves. But when the facts are not on your side, don't ask a question. And even better, just get better facts. The third one, the rhyming pitch. When people are able to process something more fluently, so when it rhymes, they absorb it more. Just go online and find a free rhyming dictionary and make it rhyme. Like, for instance, Haribo's logo or a slogan pitch rhymes in every language, in French, Spanish, and English. Dutch. Number 4, the title of your email. Basically, email is a pitch, right? Because you're trying to get people's attention, trying to get people engaged. You want them to read your email. 2 categories: either they're useful to people or it makes them curious. Anything in between doesn't work. Combination of those doesn't work either. Another political example where Obama he did it really well with his email. His most popular one was "Hey." So it just had his title of his email saying "Hey." So people were curious, they would click on it. So the 5th pitch is the Twitter pitch. Twitter is a form of pitching. Best thing in Twitter is give information, self-promotional, and although Twitter allows 140 characters, you want to have less characters than that, so people can retweet. So the best pitch are short, sweet, and easy to retweet. And lastly, the Pixar pitch. So it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was blank. Every day, blank. One day, blank. Because of that, blank. Because of that, blank. Until finally... So, for instance, the plot of Nemo. Once upon a time, there was a widowed fish named Marlin, who was extremely protective of his only son, Nemo. Every day, Marlin warned Nemo of the dangers of the ocean and implored him not to swim far away. Then, one day, in an act of deviance, Nemo ignored his father's warnings and swam into the open water. Because of that, he's captured by a diver and ends up in a fish tank. Because of that, Merlin sets off on a journey to recover Nemo, enlisting the help of other sea creatures along the way, until finally Nemo and Merlin find each other and reunite and learn that love depends on trust. So those are the 6 pitches, and you have to ask yourself the right questions. What do you want your prospect to know? What do you want your prospect to feel? And what do you want your prospect to do? To know, to feel, to do. So get that clear of those 6 different versions of the pitch, and that way you have easy success in selling today. Also, just make sure you're serving first. So it has to be a win-win situation. The time of pushy salespeople is long gone. You have to hear the offers. What do people want? The term upselling is nowadays replaced by upserving. So serve them first. It has to be personal, and ask yourself, will their life improve by buying this product or by doing this course? And the second one is make it purposeful. So ask yourself, will the world be a better place after I sell this to them? That was the core message I gathered from To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink. It's a great book on sales. Highly recommended. Thank you for watching, and have yourself a productive day.